What's going on, everybody? The accountant is back with another best ball stream. My name is Kyle. We have the pick number 10. This is the Eliminator on best ball. So, the name of the game of this tournament is to survive. I've been wanting to do more Eliminators before the camps get started for preseason and ADP start adjusting. I feel like there's good ADP values on this Eliminator. And a lot of people, the room should get softer as we approach the season and more like redraft people get into these basketball tournaments that aren't accustomed to the formats. But I do feel like a lot of the eliminator rooms are sometimes soft as well. We'll see how this room breaks down. But thanks for joining. I'm going to be doing this all preseason long and then reviewing my teams throughout the season. So if you want some best ball content, subscribe to the channel. You can be my very first subscriber. Hit the like button and let's get drafting. I most likely will be looking to take like an Ashton Genty, or I've been trying to up my exposure on James Cook. There's been some rumblings that the new coaching staff is going to give him more receiving work. And I feel like with James Cook, like he's so efficient and he breaks off long runs. If he gets some more looks in the receiving game, he could finish easily top 5. I think last year he finished in number 6 overall, if I'm not mistaken. So he's a guy I want to up my exposure to. I definitely would like to be overweight the field on James Cook. I definitely am overweight the field on Ashton Genty. And I've been taking him a lot in these eliminators because he's also got a week 13 bye week. That's too bad. They both go right in front of me. I'll take CD, or I could take Amon Rod, but I think I'm going to lean CD Lamb, and the tiebreaker being he's got a week 14 bye week. That's a little unfortunate. My two guys went right before me. They must be listening to the stream. AJ Brown goes pretty early in this one. I'm going to go Saquon Barkley here. He's someone, we know he's a workhorse. He should be getting a lot of work, especially at the beginning of the year. The Eagles could lean into the run game more at the beginning of the year as well. They're trying to start a completely different offense than what they're accustomed to. So they could start a little slow, but I'm confident. If I am confident in one person in that offense, it is Saquon Barkley at the beginning of the year. So I'm happy with my start of CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley. I just don't know how I feel about Kenneth Walker going this early, especially in the eliminator where he has a week 5 bye week. And I think he's going to be good, but he's just a guy that has never really been a workhorse. So I definitely could see him missing some time this year. I'm more likely to draft him in a BBM type where he could just go off week 15, 16, 17, miss a couple weeks throughout the year, and then you have him at the end of the year. Another guy I've been trying to get more exposure to, especially in BBM type formats, is Christian McCaffrey. He has led the NFL in touches 2 years in a row, and he is 30 years old. But he's someone I just don't want to really be fading. I just want to make sure I'm like right about maybe like 7% exposure on him because of the fact he could just lead the NFL in touches for 3 years in a row. He's in a good offense. We know he's going to be catching passes. But, the injury concerns are there. So it would be beneficial to take the guys behind him at the end of the draft, which is Jordan James and Kalon Black. Eileen James. Black is more of like a receiving back, but they both had a lot of production in college. So I'm going to go Zay Flowers here. He's got the week 13 bye, pairing up nicely with my CeeDee Lamb week 14 bye. And Zay Flowers, he had a great year last year, even though Lamar Jackson did not. So if Lamar Jackson can take a step forward, I see Zay Flowers having a really good year. I could look to take another receiver here. You do start 3 wide receivers in the Eliminator, just like the BBM. I believe Superflex is the only format so far that I've done where you only start 2 wide receivers. Garrett Wilson has the same bye week as Zay Flowers, but I still think I'm going to take him because, I mean, if my team lasts to week 13, then that would be great because I would most likely I definitely would be in the money by then. And I mean, I'll just cross that bridge when I get there and hope my other receivers step up. But it is something to note, like I won't be drafting any more wide receivers with a week 13 bye. And I just think Garrett Wilson fits in very nicely with a guy like Zay Flowers. Like he should have a lot of volume. Zay Flowers may have less volume, but most likely will be more efficient. And then CeeDee Lamb is just like the hammer piece of the 3 wide receivers. I don't know if anyone saw the England World Cup game yesterday, but Norway got screwed. Right before Norway was winning 1-0, and right before halftime, there's a goal kick for Norway. The goalie clears the ball and it hits the wire that holds the camera above the field. The ball goes straight down to a guy on England who just controls it and does a counterattack, and they end up scoring on the play. VAR does not review it, even though they claim to have a chip in the ball that monitors if the ball has been touched, but the metal wire did not apparently set the chip off. But if you saw the Portugal-Croatia game, they said the chip was set off when the ball didn't even look like it touched the Croatian guy to be called offside in the last second of the game. So, and then FIFA comes out with a statement today saying that there's no evidence that the ball was hit by, the ball was hit by the wire. The wire, they said that the ball didn't get hit by the wire, or the wire didn't get hit by the ball. But it's like we all saw it on film. Like, you're just gonna try to say that we can't see? My blood was boiling last night because of it. But anyway, we're back on the clock. I'm gonna take Colston Loveland here. Week 10 bye, a tight end who should be getting a lot of volume. Does share a bye week with Saquon, but I'm not too worried about it. I could look to take Price with Saquon. Malik Neighbors is still here, which, I mean, with my wide receiver room, I could think about taking him. But I'm going to take Price because I don't have another running back yet. Maybe if I went ahead gone Colston Loveland there, I could have taken Price and Malik Neighbors. But yeah, anyway, back to the World Cup thing. VAR is completely ruining, and technology is ruining the game, in my opinion. And I play soccer, so I'm a professional soccer player, so it's very concerning, in my opinion, where the game is heading and how the refs are managing this World Cup. But they have a lot of work to do with all of this technology. And I mean, in my opinion, FIFA, the statement that they made about how the ball didn't touch the wire, complete propaganda. Could look to take Cortland Sutton. Like I said, I'm staying away from the week 13 bye week, so Alec Pierce is off the table. Could look to take a quarterback, but I'll probably hold off on a quarterback. Could look to pair Dak up with CeeDee Lamb if he falls. Let's see some of the other teams. We got a guy who hasn't taken a running back at pick 12, which is a bold strategy. Went two elite quarterbacks. Every other team seems this team actually. Team 11, 5 running backs, 1 wide receiver. Something to note, these two are kind of balancing each other out with their crazy builds. So yeah, when I say the rooms in the eliminators are sometimes soft, this is what I'm talking about. But who knows, it could work for them. I mean, this guy's wide receivers are really good. Malik Neighbors does end up going 2 picks after me. I could see him continuing to get pushed down. Dak Prescott is here for me. But I could see Malik Neighbors throughout the preseason when he's not playing just continue to get pushed down boards. So I will most likely wait to get my exposure. I have like a little bit of exposure on him, but I'm looking to get more when hopefully he becomes cheaper. I could look to take double elite tight ends, but I think I'm going to go Quentin Johnston here. He's a guy that could just help me win a week with his boom plays. He's on a good offense. He's on an offense with a new offensive coordinator who could bring out more of his talents. So I like the pick this year. I like the LA Chargers offense in general this year. So happy to add him to an already pretty dang solid wide receiver room. So my team is very balanced right now. I will need to add more running backs. So the 12 drafter does take 2 running backs back to back, J.K. Dobbins and Rachaad White. In the eliminator, though, like we've seen, Dobbins can't make it a full season, so he's got a lot of work to do in adding more running back pieces. As do I. I also only have 2 running backs. So I could look to take Jonathan Brooks or Jordan Mason. I could also look to wait one more pick and take Matthew Stafford. So I took Jonathan Brooks. I don't mind the pick. I need running backs. And I like this duo of Jadarian Price and Jonathan Brooks because when Charbonnet's out, Price should be seeing more looks at the beginning of the year. And then Brooks could start off slower because he's coming off injuries and then ramp up maybe after his bye week. I might follow it up with JCM. Yeah, I will. I think he's a guy too that will just be stronger at the beginning of the year, most likely, because he's the only running back that was in the offense last year. They added a rookie and they added Rachaad White, but he should get most of the goal line carries, if not all of them, at the beginning of the year, especially. Unless Katron Allen just has an unbelievable camp. So I have a very balanced build with a 1-4-4-1. I do think it's a little bit more advantageous to do balanced builds on these eliminators because you just want your team to have a very solid floor. And I feel like when you do extreme builds like this, like 4 wide out, no zero running back, you're just asking for higher volatility, which will get you eliminated in these formats where you need to perform week in and week out to advance. King Pesto also is 1-4-4-1 in their build so far. I like his team. He's got Jonathan Taylor, Brock Bowers, Rashid Rice, Jalen Waddle. Interesting, Rashid Rice falls so far. Maybe because he's got a week 5 bye week. But he goes at the 2-3 turn in like BBM. I gladly pair Rashid Rice up with Chase when I get the 3 spot. So I'm coming up on the clock. There's a few options for me here. I think I might lean a tight end and just get like a really solid tight end room. Or I could go Jaden Higgins. I feel like I've gone a lot of Jaden Higgins though in these eliminators. So I'm going to go ahead and take Dalton Kincaid. He's on a really good offense. His efficiency numbers are through the roof on yards per route run. He was just banged up last year with a knee injury. So I'm very high on Dalton Kincaid. And then pairing him up with a Colston Loveland is just great. Two of my favorite tight ends. All right, I'm going to go Rashid Shaheed here. He most likely is going to be the clear wide receiver 2 on Seattle. And he also can break off for long touchdown passes. And he's got a week 11 bye, and none of my other players besides Price have a week 11 bye. And I like doing this on eliminator teams, stacking like running backs and wide receivers, especially when they're not high draft capital. Because like 1 week, Shaheed could go off, and then the next week, Price could go off. And it just balances out my team. I will be looking to take another quarterback soon. Could take Aaron Rodgers. There's not many left. Most teams have 2 quarterbacks already. One team has 3. So yeah, I'll definitely be looking to take a quarterback. But I could see Dak having an MVP type season. So I'm not really worried about like getting locked out on quarterback because I have a good one. And then I will most likely take 2 more on this team. I could stay at 2 tight ends because I have Kincaid and Colston Loveland, which I most likely will. I'm hoping that Aaron Rodgers falls back to me. I think he's a great eliminator pick. A lot of quarterbacks and tight ends are going off the board, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone takes him. If this guy doesn't take him, though, he already has 3 quarterbacks, so he shouldn't be taking him. So most likely I will get him, which is great news. He's also my only player on a week 9 bye. thus far. Could look to take Spears next, which I also think Spears is a pretty solid eliminator pick. He's a guy who should be catching passes. He's done it 3 years in a row. So yeah, I'll take Spears here. Now I got a pretty solid running back room with the anchor being Saquon, Price, Brooks, JCM, and Spears. I also like my wide receiver room. I got some boom guys. And then I got 3 guys that should just be getting a lot of volume and high efficiency in Zay Flowers. And then I have 2 solid tight ends. Could be fantastic tight ends. So my team is looking pretty good. I think this is like my 50th eliminator so far this year. I'm looking to max it out. First prize is like $200,000, I believe. So definitely trying to take that down and come in first place. I've never really done more than like 10 eliminators before. I'm doing a lot more maxing out of tournaments this year because last year I came in second place in a tournament that I maxed out. I only maxed out one tournament. I came in second place in it. So I cashed out a pretty good chunk of money. And then the year before that, I didn't max out any tournaments, but I did quite a few of one, and I came in like top 10, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna start maxing some of these out. But this year, I'm maxing out quite a few, starting to do streaming. So smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be here all preseason long and into the regular season, reviewing the teams, doing more fantasy content. So I'd really appreciate it if you'd be my first subscriber. I could look to take Mendoza here. He most likely won't be starting at the beginning of the year, but who knows? Who else is on here? Yeah, I'm going to take Mendoza. I don't really love any of these wide receivers. Like Debo's 30 years old and doesn't even have a team yet. Jerry Jeudy could be washed and also could just not get many looks this year behind the rookies. I could look to pair Calvin Ridley up with Spears. Kind of the same thing I have with Price and Rashid Shaheed. And Calvin Ridley doesn't have the same bye week as any of my wide receivers, which is good. I don't know how I feel about Calvin Ridley because of DK and the other wide receiver they have there. But he's 1 year removed of 2 1,000-yard seasons, so I'll take the risk. The other wide receivers like Alec, what's his name? Ayo Manor. Yeah, like these guys are both actually pretty good in my opinion. Shamir DK, he broke the record for most scrimmage yards of a rookie ever, which is crazy because he returned kickoffs and punts and stuff. Here it is. Establishing the all-time NFL rookie record for all-purpose yards. It's just crazy. So he's a solid option they have, and then he had a decent rookie season. But my wide receiver room is good. There's 2 picks left. So most likely I will add another running back and another wide receiver, but I could add 2 more wide receivers. Let's look at my running back room. So yeah, I have a pretty solid running back room, in my opinion. None of them have the same bye week. I could add one of these wide receivers as a Tennessee stack because I am high on their offense. And then it's like, if any of the wide receivers score a touchdown that week, I should have, besides the 2 top dogs, like if any of the other guys score, I will most likely have one of them. Stribling goes. I was going to take him. Antonio Williams is still. Oh, he goes as well. I could pair up Helani with Price, which I kind of like that idea because there's been rumors that like they could just share the backfield at the beginning of the year. So yeah, I am going to do that if he falls. He's a guy who should be getting receiving work at least at the beginning of the year. As you can see, it says he's taking most of the first team reps. And that way, I just lock down the backfield of Seattle at the beginning of the year until Charbonnet gets back, which then I'll figure it out from there. So my last pick will be a wide receiver. Like I said, I could look to take similar situation of what I did with Seattle's backfield. Could look to take one of these guys. Could also look to take Bateman or Bernard. I don't want another week 13 bye. I'm going to take Pat Bryant. He doesn't have the same bye week as any of my wide receivers, and the Broncos throw the ball a lot. So I like my team. We'll do a quick review. It's Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Mendoza. Hopefully he gets on the field sooner rather than later. Saquon Barkley, Price, Brooks, JCM, Spears, Helani, CeeDee Lamb, Zay Flowers, Wilson, Quentin Johnson, Rashid Shaheed, Calvin Ridley, Pat Bryant, Colston Loveland, and Dalton Kincaid. Thank you all for joining me. I hopefully will be on soon again to do some more of these eliminators. Like I said, I'm trying to get more exposure to these eliminators before the camp starts. So I'll see you guys next time.